Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Mando coming at y'all with another video, and today, as you guys seen by the title, I'm going to be comparing my two favorite types of reselling: AirPods and designer clothes. Now, with the AirPods, there is a little more to it, right? It's kind of electronics. AirPods kind of just encapsulates the whole category, but it's more electronics. Like Dysons, AirPod Maxes. There's a ton of stuff, but with designer clothes, it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's designer clothes, but it also, it's shoes, accessories, belts, wallets, all that. So basically, just, I guess, the clothing side and the electronic side. Which one's better? And I'm going to be going over the pros and cons of each, comparing them, and ultimately giving you my favorite choice. So let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to be starting out with AirPods. And the pros for AirPods, there are a good amount. The number one thing I have for AirPods is that they are cheaper. So an AirPod with my supplier in particular, I think is around $18 for a Pro 2, and that's with free shipping. So AirPods are very cheap. You can get 10 of them for less than $200, which a lot of people, especially younger kids, young teenagers, you don't have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of capital, so AirPods could be the better option for you for that reason. Now, the second pro I have for AirPods is that they are more appealing. So what I mean by that is that there is a way bigger target market for AirPods. Your grandma could want a pair of AirPods just as much as your 10-year-old cousin could want a pair of AirPods. So that's why you can sell them on places like Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of adults and older people, and also, places like Macari where there's, maybe millennials, younger people, stuff like that. And then eBay, or, mix of everything. Everybody wants AirPods. It's an Apple product, a very reliable brand, a very well-known product. Everybody could use them. Best quality AirPods out there, most popular AirPods out there. So yeah, a lot of people are willing to buy them. A lot of people are looking to buy them, which means they're easier to sell, which is also another one of my pros, it being easy to sell. I have found that AirPods are pretty easy to sell for me. I don't really hold on to them for too long. If I have them in hand and I put them up, they're gone pretty fast. I sell a lot of them online. I do sell some locally, but yeah, they're not really sitting for me for a while. If I have them, they're gone pretty quick, which is another pro. They're very quick to sell. You can make your money back very fast, and keep just rinsing and repeating. If I have $40, I buy two AirPods, I'm at zero, but now I sell them both for $80, I'm at $160. Now I buy four, you get where I'm going. It's super quick, and you can do that whole process. You can repeat that whole process multiple times within, a week, multiple times within 2 weeks. My supplier ships within 2 to 4 days. So let's just say, hypothetical situation, like I said, you have $40, you buy two AirPods. Those AirPods come in 2 days. You sell them within 2 days. It's now been 4 days and you have $160. You now buy four AirPods, or no, you can now buy, I think they're $20 a piece. We can get 16. You can buy, yeah, we'll say 8, no, 8, yeah, 8 AirPods. I gotta do the math real quick here. So yeah, 8 AirPods you could buy. Now you're back at $0. Let's say those AirPods take another 2 days. Now you have 8 AirPods, and it's been 6 days. Let's say you get all those out in 4 days. We're at, I think, 12 days now, and you've sold all the AirPods. We'll say you even just sold them for $50. Slight $30 profit. 8 AirPods at $50. That is $400. So you 10x your money in less than 2 weeks. Obviously a hypothetical situation, but also very, very possible. Especially with my supplier and his shipping times, that can definitely be done. Now, for those of you who do not know what I'm talking about when I keep mentioning my supplier, if you go ahead and go over to moneygetsbigger.store, link will be in the description. I sell my electronic and clothing supplier, which I'll be talking about a little later in this video. They are up on the website. I just released this new bundle where they're both even cheaper than they already are. So, if you want one or the other, down here, or if you want to grab the bundle, it is now live. So, moneygetsbigger.store if you guys are interested in any of my suppliers. Alright, with that being said, those are the AirPods Pros. Well, the pros of the AirPods, not the AirPod Pros. Let's not get confused. But now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the designer clothes reselling pros, and then we'll talk about the cons after. So the first thing for the designer clothes is that there are huge margins. With AirPods, you can buy an AirPod for maybe $20, and like I said, if you're lucky, you maybe sell it for $150. If you sell an AirPod for $150, that's very, very, very good. That's very rare. It's not going to happen often. So that's $150, $130 profit. That is a great come up for AirPods. Now, with designer reselling, designer clothes, you can buy a shirt for $50 and resell it for $500. That's not an insane thing to do when it comes to reselling designer clothes, because some of these shirts, Louis Vuitton, Gucci shirts, can easily retail for over $1,000. So selling them for $500 isn't that preposterous. So you can make a lot more money reselling designer clothes with a lot less sales. And that brings me to my next pro. You don't have to sell as much. Now with the AirPods, like I mentioned, if you want to make $400, like that hypothetical situation I just created right now, it would take you, I think, a total, we sold, I think, what did we sell? I think it was 14 AirPods or 12 AirPods in that hypothetical situation to make us $400. Now with, like I said, with designer clothes, you could sell one t-shirt and easily clear that $400 mark. But like I'll get into it a little later, one of the cons, it is a little harder to sell. So I mean, it kind of, it's give and take. That's why there are pros and cons. That's how it works. But yeah, designer reselling, you can get a lot more money and a lot bigger margins with just one sale. Now another pro about designer reselling clothes is that a lot of the sales you're going to make are going to be local. Now for some of you younger guys who maybe don't have a car yet, your mom isn't big on shipping stuff out for you, I don't know, some people's parents just, they have weird rules. Lucky for me, mine aren't like that, but your mom might get sketched out if you're telling her you need to ship something out at the post office. I understand that some parents are just like that. But with the designer reselling clothes, a lot of the stuff you sell is going to be local. So you're going to be selling not only to other resellers who you're going to then resell to other people, but also just selling to your friends or kids from high school, kids from your town. Like one of the biggest ways to sell these clothes is post up on Snapchat, which I've done in other videos. I have this whatever Spider hoodie, I have this Montclair jacket, this Louis Vuitton belt, send me offers. And that's one of the best ways that you're going to sell these clothes, because a lot of them, they don't pass on StockX, they don't pass on GOAT. And the only marketplaces that are really big for these clothes, like eBay and stuff, have the authenticators. So that's why local is going to be your best bet most of the time. And I know hearing that might throw some of you guys off, saying, a lot of these marketplaces might not be a good place to sell. And that kind of sounds like a con at first, and I understand that. But the reason I have it in a pro is because local is really good way to sell. And you don't have to ship, you don't have to waste time on shipping, you don't have to buy boxes, you don't have to package things, get people's address, which is also a very hard thing to do. If you're selling AirPods through Snapchat and you're not delivering them locally, like you're shipping them out to people, having someone actually send you their address and cash app you the money and have to trust you to ship stuff, that's a very hard thing to do. That's why you only really going to get sales if you're dropping them off or if it's through an app. So since locally is your best way to go with the designer clothes, it's definitely a pro. Alright, now that we talked about the pros, let's get into some of the cons. And there aren't many, because obviously this is a very good method to get into. So some of the AirPod cons I have are less money. So I mean, in general, this isn't really a con, but once in comparison to the designer clothes, it becomes a con. So yeah, like I said, the designer clothes, way bigger margins and a lot more money to be made. So therefore, I would knock a point off from the AirPods for just, not being able to produce as much money. The next con that I would say about AirPods is shipping. So I just talked about this, in that last clip. And shipping, like I said, for some of you younger guys, it might be an issue. Or, buying boxes, getting the supplies, driving to the post office, stuff like that. Getting the address for your buyer. It could be tedious, it could just be an extra step of work, and it could be something that potentially loses you a sale here and there. So overall, shipping could be looked at as a pro or a con, to be honest. It's really just situational. I kind of threw it in there just to, give it some substance on the cons. I don't want to seem too biased, but, shipping, it's good and bad. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, as a con at least. Now, the last con with AirPod reselling is going to be returns. Now, this was a lot more prominent before I got in contact with my supplier that I now sell to you guys, because his product is very high quality. You don't really get bad products from him. He's very consistent in his batches, good sound quality, good noise cancellation, all that. But when I was getting them from a different supplier on other websites and from other people, like I used to get them from suppliers in my area who would just supply me, you would get bad AirPods pretty often. And once you're selling online, like stores like Macari, they favor the buyer in terms of return. So all the all the things they have in place in terms of returns, like the policies, they favor the buyer, because these sites, they want to be buyer friendly, so people buy things and they get their fees and they make their money. So there's a 3-day return on Macari. So if somebody gets AirPods and they don't sound good, they can return them, and it's a super easy process. So if you have a bad supplier, low quality AirPods, you're definitely going to get a lot of returns, which is going to be a pain, because once you get those AirPods back, now they're opened. So now you got to sell them, and they're bad quality, and they're bad quality now because somebody sent them back to you, and 2, they're opened as well. So a lot of times that can just get chalked up as a complete loss, and you won't even be able to sell them at all. And that's another reason why I push my supplier as much as I do, because the high quality products are so important when it comes to reselling. You can lose out on a lot of money and a lot of sales just by not having that top quality product. Alright, so that's going to wrap up the cons to the AirPods, but now moving on to the designer clothes. The two cons that I have for designer clothes are that they are harder to sell and that it is more expensive. So with the more expensive thing, you know, like I said, an AirPod is maybe $20. With the designer clothes, it's kind of in that price range. I think hoodies are like $65, pants are $55. But some like the Moncler jackets, you know, the pieces that have special fabrics, you know, need to be manufactured a certain way, can get more expensive. I believe some of his jackets are up to, you know, $150, $180. And, you know, it's kind of like a, you got to spend money to make money type of thing. You know, I might spend $180 on a Moncler jacket, which is a lot, but I could sell that jacket for over $1,000 if I'm lucky. But yeah, this can definitely be a con for, like I said, some of you younger guys who may not have the capital or the money saved up yet to go spend, you know, $150 on a risk, hoping it sells and hoping you make good money back. But I mean, it's kind of like I said, you got to spend money to make money. You know, spend 20 on AirPods, you make 50, 80 back in profit. Spend 150 on clothes, you can make 700 back in profit. So I mean, it's just kind of pick your poison type thing. Now for the second con is that they are harder to sell. And there's a couple reasons for this. One of them being, like I said, you're going to get most of your sales locally. You know, a lot of these sites like Mercari or eBay, they do have authenticators. So if you're trying to sell a fake Louis Vuitton belt, you know, you're not going to be able to sell it online because a lot of these places, they authenticate and it's not going to pass. So that eliminates, you know, one of your biggest sales channels just like that. And also, you know, I mentioned earlier with the AirPods having a larger target market, and, you know, a bigger demographic of people to sell to. With the designer clothes, that's a lot smaller. So if AirPods, like I said, you know, your grandma might want them and your 10-year-old cousin might want them. You know, that's a big range of people who are willing to buy. But when it comes to designer clothes, you're looking a lot smaller. You know, you're looking probably people, you know, around my age, you know, younger teenager to maybe, you know, like 30s, maybe like 40s. I don't know. I mean, is your grandma gonna wear? Maybe purses and stuff actually, but I don't know. I don't think your grandpa's popping out in a spider hoodie. You know what I'm trying to say? So definitely a smaller demographic of people, but like I said, it's pros and cons. You know, the AirPods, more people, but are less expensive, but you don't make as much money. And then, you know, the clothing, less people, harder to sell, more expensive, you make way more money. So I mean, it's a hard choice, but I'm gonna give you guys my favorite right now. Alright, so with all that being said, my personal pick, if I had to choose one and could never do the other again, I would pick, drum roll, AirPods. And the reason for this is because, I mean, at least with my links, you know, the AirPod electronic links, there are so many other products as well, like the Dysons do really well, and the AirPod Maxes do really well. But ultimately, I think it comes down to an experience thing. You know, the clothing stuff is something that I'm still, you know, just really getting my feet wet into. It's something that I was put on by another friend who he does very well into it. And I know you can make a ton of money doing it. And hopefully that's where I'm going to be in the future. But as of right now, I've just seen a lot more success with the AirPods because I've been doing it longer and I know what I'm doing versus the clothing, which, you know, I'm kind of just getting into and, you know, showing you guys how to do it as long as, you know, while I'm learning myself. You know, I'm making these videos for you guys and I'm getting the, you know, the information myself as I do it and as I learn, you know, during the process. So yeah, it's kind of an experience thing at the moment. You know, if you ask me that same question in a month, 2 months, the answer might definitely change, you know, if I start really getting rolling with the designer clothes. But, you know, only time will tell. So I guess we'll have to find out then. But yeah, that's about it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are looking to get into either side of this reselling, once again, head over to moneygetsbigger.store. This bundle right here is great value. I'm not even gonna lie, like this bundle is crazy. These being $50 itself is actually insane. Like I've told you guys in older videos, I've sold these links before for $200 to people. So I mean, to get both of these for $80 is insane. And like I said, they have a lot of pros. You can make money doing both. So I would definitely suggest this bundle here. Just added it, made it look nice and pretty for you guys. But yeah, moneygetsbigger.store if you guys are looking for the supplier. Fast shipping, all that. I'm not even gonna get into it. Yeah, I will actually. You know, supplier over here, we got AirPods with 2 to 4 day US shipping, free shipping. Over here on the clothing supplier, 7 to 15 days, free shipping. Product can't get seized, highest quality. I mean, free shipping with designer clothes is crazy. I mean, y'all know what Panda Buy be charging. Y'all know how long that stuff takes. So free 1 week shipping is crazy for designer clothes. But yeah, a lot of money to be made here, guys. So go ahead and let's get it done. Let's make some money together. But yeah, that's about it for today. Hope this gave you guys a little bit of information and insight on which one you might want to try out. You know, I would suggest even doing both. You know, it can't hurt to dabble in each realm, but that's for you to decide. So hope this video helped you guys out. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Be good.